Legends, Aquaman is out and it is cleaning up in the box office. I mean, he is literally swimming in money. You see what I did there? Swimming? Sorry. Undoubtedly, one of the most popular and hot characters in the film has to be Mera. So in today's episode of Origins and Powers Explained, we're going to take a look at Aquaman's main bae, Mera. Mera made her first appearance in comics in Aquaman 11 from 1963. Mera was originally an undersea queen on an alien otherworldly dimension known as Dimension Aqua. Probably the least imaginative name of all time. When a criminal named Laron exiled and chased Mera out of her home dimension, she met Aquaman and Aqualad, who decided to be cool and help her out. Aquaman and Mera eventually defeated Laron with the help of a water sprite named Quisp, and rather than retake the throne, Mera decided to rejoin Arthur and return to Atlantis, where they eventually fell in love and were married. Eventually, the two had a child, Arthur Jr., and Arthur Jr. was actually nicknamed Aquababy, which sounds pretty cute, but gotta tell you that what is about to follow is pretty dark. Black Manta kidnaps Aquababy and puts it into a tank of poison, where it falls into a coma. Mera sets upon a quest to fetch a healing device from her home dimension, and upon succeeding, she returns to save her child, but Aquababy dies. Mera blames Aquaman for his weak genes, low blow, claiming a child born of two people from her home dimension would have been able to survive, and she subsequently has a nervous breakdown, a theme that's kind of revisited many times over her comic book history. Mera is then committed to an Atlantean hospital, and eventually she gets out and confronts Aquaman and attacks him. He repels her, and in so doing, she gets impaled on a sharp piece of metal, apparently dying. She's placed in a coffin, but due to the fact that she's from another dimension, her vital organs aren't exactly in the same location that ours are, so she actually avoids death and leaves Atlantis for her home dimension. Eventually, Mera is shown to be trapped in a hell-like dimension called Netherworld, where she's brainwashed by Thanatos. She's also shown to have a new son named EJ. Eventually, AJ and Mera are able to break free and leave, but they can't return to Earth because it causes AJ to have advanced aging. Instead, they travel to the world of Oceanid, and they help defeat a race of aliens who are exploiting the planet for all their natural resources, because that's exactly what aliens always do. And after that victory, Mera returns to Atlantis, and AJ stays on that planet to become their champion and go by the name of Aquaman. Mera and Arthur reconcile and they go on various adventures, but after the events of Villains United, Atlantis is destroyed by the Spectre. During the Sword of Atlantis, Aquaman, who is essentially gone insane from grief and is functioning as an amnesiac named Orin, makes a pact with the sea gods and is transformed into a being known as the Dweller. The Dweller then dies, and we next see Mera during the events of Blackest Night. During the events of Blackest Night, multiple heroes and villains are reanimated by the Black Lantern ruler Necron. Aquaman is reanimated as a Black Lantern and attacks Mera. Mera is overpowered and forced to retreat, and after suffering in a near-death battle with Black Lantern Wonder Woman, Mera is so angry that she's chosen by a Red Lantern power ring to become a Red Lantern. She is next confronted again by Aquaman, and in the darkest move of all time, the Black Lantern Aquaman brings the reanimated corpse of Aquababy to Mera in an attempt to solicit an emotional response that would give him the upper hand and bound her to a Black Lantern ring. And after the Black Lantern ruler Necron is destroyed by White Lanterns, the white light of life restores Aquaman. The sight of Aquaman alive calms Mera down and she loses her Red Lantern connection and the rage. During the events of Brightest Day, various elements of Mera's backstory were adjusted. Her homeworld of Dimension Aqua was changed to the Atlantean penal colony of Zebel. This changed the location of Zebel to the Bermuda Triangle and established Zebel as the cause of various shipwrecks in order for them to eat human beings. She was trained from birth to infiltrate Atlantis and kill their king, but the plan backfired when she witnessed Aquaman saving a group of whales and learned of his status quo as a hero. So instead of killing him, she kind of just fell in love with him. After the line-wide relaunch of DC properties known as the New 52, Aquaman is again with his fiancée Mera. Aquaman decides to return to Amnesty Bay and Mera joins him, but she's having a pretty hard time living in society. Mera aids in various Aquaman stories and also plays a small role in helping stop Orm during the Throne of Atlantis storyline. Mera is next taken captive by the Dead King, the original king of Atlantis who's come back from the dead to retake the Seven Seas. Mera's imprisoned for months until Arthur returns with Atlan's scepter commanding the trench. We learn that Mera was actually already married to King Nereus of Zybel when she left to be with Aquaman and is thus a traitor to Zybel. Mera and Aquaman together defeat Nereus and the Dead King, and she returns to Atlantis. During Rebirth, the next DC line-wide relaunch, Aquaman was stripped of the crown, and Mera, in her own limited series, defeated Ocean Master to become the Queen of Atlantis. Mera is still currently the leader of Atlantis as of right now. Now, in terms of her abilities, let's discuss exactly what Mera can do. Because of her Zebelian physiology, she's incredibly strong and fast. She's also able to breathe underwater due to a set of gills and can exist pretty much underwater perpetually. That's her natural habitat. Due to her enhanced muscle density and mass, she's able to survive even the most crushing depths of the ocean. Due to her living primarily in the deep seas, her strength and speed are also drastically enhanced out of the water because of her advanced physiology. However, unlike Aquaman, who's 50% human, Mera can't survive indefinitely outside of the water. She can survive for a limited time in an oxygen and nitrogen-based environment like Earth, but if she's on the surface for too long, she will weaken and could even die. Mera's most significant ability, though, is hydrokinesis. She's able to increase the density of water around her for a wide variety of effects. She can create barriers, weapons, tsunamis, and even water projectiles that function like missiles. So yeah, Mera's pretty much a grade A badass. She isn't on the level of somebody like Wonder Woman in terms of speed and power, but in the ocean, she is basically just as strong. As I mentioned before, she is so powerful that she's even assumed the position of the Queen of Atlantis. Her one major downfall into her character is always being in a constant state of mental instability. It's a major character flaw that a lot of writers have worked with in the past. But that is about it for Mera. We hope you learned a lot. If you did, please consider subscribing and sharing this video with your friends. This has been Nick with Key Issues, and remember the motto, comics over everything.